Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Today we have Cherry, and it's going to be a beauty, I can tell you that. This comes to us from our good friend Dave at Calmwood Creations. Dave sent this along, I don't know, a long time ago. And it's been sitting here waiting for me to be inspired by it, and today's the day. The piece is about 7 inches tall and about 5 to 6 inches in diameter, depending on where you measure. I've turned 2 of these before, the way I'm going to turn this, and when I say these, I know you don't know what I mean. Some might have figured it out. You know, you get these odd cut pieces, what are you going to do with that? Well, a couple of years ago, I turned a piece like this, kind of by accident. I had never turned one before, I've never seen one like it, and I ended up really liking it, and it's quite popular video with you, the viewers, as well. And then about a year ago, I turned another one, and I think this one might be the prettiest of them all. This will be the front. It's going to stand like this. This will be the top, this will be the bottom. Now, I've already been over here at the lathe playing with this. Maybe you can see 3 or 4 holes punched in the bottom there, and you probably can't see up here, but there's, maybe you can, 2 or 3 holes punched up there as well. I'm going to turn it between centers like this. It's going to be, I guess I could say, a candle holder. I never quite know what to call these. A candle holder certainly works, but it can hold other things as well, and we'll discover that at the end. This is kind of fun for me to turn. It's quite different, and I'm in the mood for different, so that's what we got today. So I'm going to take this over here to the lathe and see if I can get it mounted back up the way I had it a few minutes ago, and I'll show you why that's important. Okay, I think I can see where this one goes. I think it goes right there. Now on the live center end, that was pretty easy. When I found my spot, I was able to draw a circle around that spot while it was on the live center. So why is that important? Well, I don't want to turn anything on the front. Like I said, this is the front. The bark is the front side. And I don't want to do any turning there. Maybe around the bottom would be okay, not much. But when I bring my tool rest up here, and I hope you can see this, can you see how close that is to the tool rest? Yeah, you can. So I want to turn this away, and it wouldn't bother me to turn some of this away, which will be the side of the piece. And this will be the other side. So some of that will get turned away. That's okay. Mostly I want to turn away this corner back here, and that's the closest to the tool rest. A little bit along this front edge, that's fine. An inch or so up, that's just fine. But mostly we want to get rid of this corner. So that's why it's setting where it's setting. That's why this live or drive center is where it is, and where the live center is where it is. So now I just need to apply a lot of pressure, because there's nothing holding this in here, but well, three of the 4 prongs on the drive center are embedded, so that's probably good. My live center is embedded well. So I'm just going to start turning. I probably won't get these flat sides turned all the way, especially this one, and it's just going to be beautiful if it turns out. Now I might have to, once I get into this, I might have to reposition these centers if I start turning away too much on the front side here, which I just don't want to do, but we'll see how it goes. So let's see what kind of speed we can get here. About 580. We'll be turning at 580 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. Well, that didn't work so well. See if I can. I'd like to drill a hole in there to hold that a little better. See if I can figure out where that goes. Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to drill a 1-inch hole for this to fit up into, so that doesn't happen again. I'll be right back. Okay, I've drilled a 1-inch hole up here. You can see that this prong is not buried in that hole, but the rest of it is. So I think we're good there. I did reposition the live center on the bottom, and I very well may have to reposition it again. I'm just trying to keep it away from this bark side, so I might have missed where I drilled my hole up there. I'm not sure. It's quite confusing. It's a puzzle. But anyway, we'll get back at it. Okay, we're hitting the side here, and we're brushing the side here a little bit. Corner is gone, but we haven't done much other rounding back here. It is very hard wood, wow. Okay, this is fully round. Well, I'm going to keep going. I'd like to get this flat part rounder. I don't think I'm ever going to get it round, but rounder works. Boy, so close, huh? I don't think I should take off too much more. I can sand that up. It'll never be round, but I can sand it up and make it look like the rest of this, or close to it. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to come down here and work on the bottom, put a tenon on it, I guess. And I guess I'm happy with the location of my drive point and live center. I'll draw my tenon on there. Guess I'm going to have to do this one a little different than I usually do. I'm going to use a little smaller gouge. Now I'm going to use this diamond point tool to square up the sides of the tenon. And that is good. Time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex at 120 grit, and then I'll go to 180 grit, and that's as fine as I'll get. And I'll be sanding all of the bark inclusions, this unturned part over here, I guess, with that. And when that's done, I'll switch to my 2-inch disc starting at 80 grit and working up through 400 grit. And I'll show you what both of those look like as soon as I get my mask on. I'll be doing more of that. That's just a sample. And that cleans the bark up and smooths it out so it feels good, but it doesn't really change how it looks. And then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 400 RPM. And I'll be doing more of that. And I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. Well, I guess this is actually a burl now that I see the grain. Now this part up here, this is still flat here and here. I sanded it gently. I didn't want it to be perfect like the rest of it is. I wanted it to show that it had been cut with a saw. So there's still some saw marks in there. Not much, but a little bit. But it's still super smooth. See, isn't that beautiful? That grain. But of course that's all on the back. All of this that we're looking at here, this is all the back. This is the front. I can barely get my rag in there. I've got to use a brush on this anyway. This is a sanding sealer, shellac based sanding sealer, and then I'll apply shellac over this. But I'm going to do the shellac at the same time I do the inside of this, if you can call it an inside. Now this is going to take some time, and sanding took quite a little bit of time, more than I thought it would. Not like some pieces I've done lately, but it still took a lot of time. Beautiful, beautiful bark. Some of this right up this way I just couldn't get. I'll get that when I do the top side. And this is the first coat of sanding sealer. I'll put on 2 coats. And when I get that second coat done, I'll bring you back and we will start working on the rest of it. Oh yeah, the bad part about this bark is we're going to cut a lot of it away. Alright, see you after the second coat. I don't know if I'll be doing any more turning on this piece. I need to drill out the center. This is a 1.5 inch bit. I intend to work up to 2 1/8. That's my goal. I may have to go to 2 1/4. I'm not sure. I won't know until I get there, that's all. So the lathe is going to be spinning at 175 RPM. And it's going to go slow, that's all. And I won't show you all of this because it's really boring. Boring, get it? Boring a hole. Yeah. And I'm going really slow because it's only hitting 2 or 3 spots on here and I don't want to jar it loose from the chuck. I'll go a little faster once I get all these teeth doing cutting, but they're not doing that yet. It's going well. It's just going to take some time. I'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, I'm up to my 2 1/8 inch bit. You may be able to see I have a hole here. That's okay. My intention is to drill all of this away as well. I want this whole front open, something like that. That'll be open. The rest of it will be closed. Now I don't know. There is an indentation back here that goes in there quite a ways. I might end up with a little hole on the back. If I do, it won't be too large and it won't really be a problem. Still turning at 175 RPM. Just going slow. Just taking it easy. Like I said, boring to watch. Getting noisy. I'll bring you back in a little while. I'm done drilling. I'm done turning. Time for sanding. I've made an executive decision with the aid of my daughter. I did a video call with my daughter and showed her this and showed her the previous ones that I've done like this, which she's already seen anyway, but for comparison. I included those in the video. She says leave it, and my thought was leave it, and then my thought was no, don't leave it. Remember I told you the front was going to be open? Well, what about that? What about not open? What about this band across here? Open here, the band. Now I know you're looking at this at an odd angle, but imagine standing upright. This is the top, of course. And then a candle in here, or a tea light, or a votive, or an electronic thing or something. Imagine that. So I'm gonna leave it. I really have mixed feelings. I've been standing here for an hour and a half looking at it and talking to her about it. She says, as the one that's gonna inherit it, leave it. So I guess I'll leave it. So my sanding is only gonna involve this this dowel on my drill. It's got a slit cut in the end of it for sandpaper. I've got this other piece of sandpaper jammed in there just to keep it from falling out of there. So that slot's getting bigger and bigger the more often I use it. So I'm just going to put this in here, spin the piece up, spin the drill up, and sand. I'm going to start at 180 grit and work up through 400 grit. I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. I hope you like it this way. I'm still getting used to the idea. Whoa, came right out the side there. I'm going to have to be careful to hold that still, more still. Whoa, not easy, not easy. Maybe I'll have to do it with it not spinning. Yeah, I guess that'll work. So that's what I'll be doing for a while. I'll go ahead and finish up the sanding, get the finish inside there. You already saw me put it on the outside. It'll just involve the same thing, a brush and a rag. I'll bring it back here in a bit and we'll take the tenon off. See you in a bit. I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck. I'm going to place the candle holder, I guess we'll call it, over that. And bring up my tailstock. I still have that center hole there for reference, which will help me center it on that block. Bring up my tool rest, spin the piece up, see if it's running true. It is. Apply a little pressure. I'm going to take a 3/8 inch bowl gouge and commence to removing that tenon. I want to check for clearance, and I'm not quite there yet. Because of the way I constructed this tenon, it just about all has to be removed. I like to usually leave a little bit, but sometimes I can't. Now let's see. I'm pretty sure we have clearance now. Yep, just barely, but we got it. Now I want to get a little bit closer and higher. Oh, I didn't even mention what speed I'm turning at, and that's because I don't know. Okay, we've been at 520. Now I'm going to switch to a swept back bowl gouge so that I can get in there closer and tighter. And I'm going to turn the speed down to about 400 RPM and just keep working it away. Now I'm going to turn the speed down to about 200 RPM, and I'm going to apply the bevel of the gouge against the bottom of the candle holder. Right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch, and when the little nub stops turning, we'll know we're through. Now I'll just take this over here to the workbench, sand that up, sign it, get it finished, and I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, wow, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, here it is. One cherry candle holder in the books. What do you think? Quite different, right? I'll show you how it works here in a second. I'm also going to show you the ones that I did previously that I thought I was fashioning this one after, but this makes all the difference in the world. I wish you could hold this. I wish you could touch it. I wish you could run your fingers over all these bark inclusions. It's amazing what this feels like. It's so smooth, but then you have all those different textures to touch. And it's so beautiful. The wood itself is just so beautiful. Cherry Burl. I just love this piece. I sure hope you do too. There's the bottom. It's really hard to sign something this tall and narrow because there's no place to rest your hand. So you're kind of holding the pen out in a way. It doesn't work that well, but it says my name and Cherry Burl, believe it or not. So the way this works, you can put something like this in here. I'll turn it on. It's not too terribly impressive. Of course, in a darkened room it would look better. But in this particular case, you can't see the top, you can't see the light. This does have little tiny holes in it, so the light comes through there, but I don't think it shows up on camera. So you can put something like that in there, or you can put something like this. This is a real wax candle, but it has an LED, but it is made out of wax. You can put something like that in there, and I think that looks pretty cool. Or you could put in a taller one. Same deal. That probably looks maybe the best. I didn't turn the light on. What do you think of that? That looks pretty good, right? Or it can be a flower holder. Fill that up with some water and some flowers, and there you go. Now, in my opinion, this is a little tall. Should be about 2 inches shorter, but I think I got this at the dollar store, and I'm sure they have one couple inches shorter. That'll look really nice, full of flowers. Or just this little tiny LED light dropped in there. That might look okay. Especially in a darkened room, it'd look pretty good. Now I said I'd show you the ones that I did that I was modeling this one after. This is the very first one I ever did. And this was a corner piece, as well as the next one I'm going to show you. They were both corner pieces like this one. Today's video is. And I just turned them and drilled that hole, and there you go. Now this one's special because of course you got Mickey Mouse right there. Clear as a bell. Also looks like a throne. Also looks like a bear. And that looks good with different things in it. This is what I have in there when it's in the house. And you could just put a little votive candle or something in there. And after that one, about a year later, I turned this one. Quite plain. It's Japanese maple. And that looks okay. Like that. And then today's video. So you let me know which one's your favorite. I hope you like this one. I'm really grateful that my daughter Stephanie told me, "Dad, leave that part. That looks really good." I'm grateful she told me that, because I would have drilled that out another 1/4 inch bigger bit and it would have been gone. But it's just cool, as is the whole piece. And a great smooth finish just all over. It just feels good all over. Thank you, Dave from Calmwood Creations, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I love reading them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.